The seventh habit is overusing praise. You think compliments build connection, but overuse them and they become currency with no value. You say things like, "Nice job," or "Wow, that's amazing," to keep conversations smooth, to show warmth, to align yourself. But Machiavelli would tell you this: praise, when given too freely, loses its weight and signals the desire to belong, not the strength to lead. When you flood them with flattery, powerful people see someone who is trying to be liked, which means they need them, which means they can be controlled. Withhold praise until it costs something. Deliver it like a reward, not a reflex. Make it specific, rare, and slightly delayed. When you speak admiration with discipline, it stops being noise. It becomes a signal, and the powerful listen to signals, not validation. The eighth habit is mirroring too much. You match their tone, their slang, their laugh, their rhythm. You subtly adjust yourself to fit them. You think you're building rapport, but what you're building is invisibility. Because the more you reflect someone else, the more you blur your own edges. And the moment your identity becomes fluid, they stop seeing you as an equal. To the powerful, unconscious mirroring screams desperation. It says, "I'll become whatever you need me to be. Just don't exclude me." And that's when they stop respecting you, because they know you'd rather be accepted than be seen. Keep your natural tone, even if it clashes. Don't match volume or mirror body language just to smooth things out. Let there be tension. You don't need to dissolve it, because only people with nothing to prove stay solid in the presence of difference. And that solidity creates curiosity. The ninth habit is always showing gratitude first. Yes, gratitude is powerful, but like any powerful thing, timing is everything. If you thank someone before establishing your own presence, you look like a subordinate. Phrases like, "Thank you for your time," or "Thanks for having me," sound polite, but Machiavelli would see them as a silent confession. I believe this interaction benefits me more than it benefits you. That single power imbalance makes you smaller, even if you're talented, valuable, or brilliant. Delay gratitude. Establish presence first. Speak with parity before praise. Let the interaction reveal mutual benefit before expressing deference. Because when you walk into a room thanking someone for letting you be there, you reinforce the lie that you didn't belong. And power doesn't respect what crawled to get in. It respects what walked in with its head up. These habits don't scream weakness, they whisper it. And those whispers are louder to the powerful than any shout. They don't need to analyze you. They feel the signals, and when those signals tell them, "This one bends, this one shrinks, this one mirrors," you vanish from their field of attention. They don't hate you, they don't judge you, they simply don't notice you. And that's worse, because when power forgets you, so does opportunity, so does influence, so does the world. But when you kill these habits, something changes. The air around you thickens. People pause before speaking to you. They ask you questions differently. They correct their tone without being asked. Not because you demanded respect, but because you removed every habit that made you ignorable. What's left is presence. And presence is what the powerful cannot afford to overlook. You don't become visible to powerful people by trying to be seen. You become visible by becoming undeniable. Most people beg for attention. They perform. They soften. They seek approval with every movement, every phrase, every nervous smile. They think visibility is something to ask for. Machiavelli knew the truth. Visibility is claimed, not granted. And the moment you drop the behaviors that dilute your presence, the world begins to react. Not because you got louder, but because you stopped signaling weakness. The final 4 habits dig deepest into your identity. They are core leaks, the kind that define whether you're taken seriously or erased. The 10th habit is constantly seeking emotional safety in conversation. You enter a room and immediately look for friendly eyes. You read everyone's tone before speaking, measure their facial reactions to every word. and adjust mid-sentence, softening your opinions or walking back your honesty. You do this because deep down you want everything to stay smooth. You're addicted to emotional safety. But here's the Machiavellian reality. He who fears conflict will always serve the one who doesn't. Real power creates tension without blinking. They enter spaces and say things that unsettle. They ask questions that challenge. They allow discomfort to hang in the air because they are not dependent on emotional smoothness. When you are constantly trying to keep things nice, you become a social janitor, cleaning up the mess at the cost of your own presence. Let people feel uncomfortable around you. Let your words land heavy. Let silence stretch. Let the moment breathe, even if it burns a little. Because when you show no fear of emotional chaos, people instinctively begin to respect you. Not because they like you, but because they can't move you. And that's the beginning of influence. The 11th habit is avoiding taking up physical space. You sit with your legs crossed, shoulders inward. You minimize hand gestures and shrink into the corner. This isn't humility. It's submission through posture. It's your body saying, "I'm not a threat. Don't mind me." Machiavelli believed that every room is an arena, and in every arena your body speaks before your words ever arrive. The powerful see that guy in the corner with the perfect opinions and no spatial presence as irrelevant. Because if your body doesn't claim the environment, your words will never matter. Sit like you belong. Unfold your arms. Keep your chin parallel and shoulders squared. Don't flinch when eyes turn to you. Let attention rest on you like it's natural. The body trains the mind, and when your posture commands presence, your energy begins to match. You're no longer in the room. You're anchoring it. The 12th habit is over-identifying with good intentions. This one's brutal because most people are convinced their good intentions will carry them. They think, "I didn't mean to sound weak, I meant well." But power doesn't care what you meant. It only responds to what you signal. Over-identifying with your good heart creates a blind spot. You assume others should see your depth, your potential, your kindness. But Machiavelli would laugh. Goodness without perception is useless. Intentions are silent. Signals are everything. Powerful people don't decode your soul. They respond to behavior. If you come off as needy or apologetic, they don't go hunting for the reason. They just decide you're not sharp enough, not present enough, not ready. Stop thinking you'll be rewarded for what you meant. Start owning how you come across. Adjust your behavior, not just your intentions. Because the ones who rise are not the kindest. They're the ones whose presence commands perception. The 13th and deepest flaw of all is treating influence like something to be earned. You believe that influence must be earned first, that you must prove yourself, wait your turn, serve long enough, and be liked enough. And then, maybe, you'll be taken seriously. But Machiavelli would tell you this: influence is never earned, it is assumed. And if assumed with enough conviction, it becomes real. Those who carry power walk into new rooms with the unshakable posture of someone who is already someone. You just haven't realized it yet. Not arrogant, not loud, just anchored. They don't ask for attention. They don't wait for credit. They move like the room should adjust to them, not the other way around. Stop thinking your work speaks for itself. It doesn't. Stop waiting for approval to act like you matter. Start moving like someone who knows the spotlight is inevitable. When you treat influence like something to be claimed, you become the kind of person others start watching before they know why. And that is when you become visible, not because you fought for it, but because your existence could no longer be ignored. You've now seen the full picture, 13 subtle habits, each one quietly erasing you from the minds of those who could elevate, empower, or open doors. The tragedy is you've probably carried these habits for years, Not because you're weak, but because no one ever told you they were invisible armor with holes in it. But now you know. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow what your smile, tone, posture, and reactions are saying when you think you're being polite or blending in for safety. You're not blending. You're fading. And the room doesn't care. Unless you stop hiding in humility, stop leaking insecurity through manners, and stop shrinking yourself in the name of peace. When you drop these habits, something happens. You don't just enter the room registers you. And when it does, power starts shifting. Eyes start adjusting. Because suddenly there's a presence they can't ignore. A man who carries no apology, no softness, no hesitation. Only weight, only stillness, only signal. And in Machiavelli's world, that's how kings are made. You were never meant to be invisible. But the world teaches invisibility early. Don't be too loud. Don't make others uncomfortable. Be nice, be patient, wait your turn. So you complied, you softened your presence, you dulled your tone. You made your power easier to digest until even you forgot it was there. But Machiavelli would call this what it truly is, self-erasure. Not humility, not nobility, but a slow and subtle death of presence. The powerful were taught differently, or they unlearned what the world taught them. They realized that presence is not earned by years of loyalty, or by silently doing good work, or by waiting for someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, "Now it's your time." They understood something most people never will. Visibility is not given to the best, it is taken by the bold. And that kind of boldness doesn't shout, it doesn't perform, it doesn't fake, it stands, still, certain, unapologetically solid in its own identity. Now look back at all 13 habits. Every single one was a micro-surrender. A gesture, a word, a movement that said, "I don't trust my value, so I'll cushion it, I'll explain it, I'll adjust it." But that era ends now. This isn't about becoming arrogant. It's about becoming undeniable. You want to be seen by powerful people. You want to command respect in every room. You want opportunity to find you without chasing. Then you must begin the full erasure of these 13 habits, from your posture, from your tone, from your instinctive reactions, and replace them with edge, with weight, with presence so sharp it makes people second-guess how they speak to you. Here's what that looks like. You walk into a room, not fast, not slow, but with the energy of a man who's not looking for anything. You speak when you decide to, not when invited. You let your sentences end in silence, not questions. You don't seek warmth, you radiate gravity. You don't mirror, you anchor. You don't rush to fill the gaps, you let the silence test them. And when someone tries to size you up, whether through sarcasm, condescension, or playful challenge, you don't get defensive. You don't laugh nervously. You don't adjust. You just look at them. Calm, cold, composed, as if to say, "You can't categorize me. You don't know what I'll tolerate. You don't know what I'm capable of." And that uncertainty is the only thing keeping you safe, because that's what visibility to the powerful really is. Not approval, not praise, not validation. It's volatility, the feeling that if they ignore you, they might regret it, that if they underestimate you, they could be wrong, very wrong. And so they watch, they hesitate, they ask what you think, they give you space, they listen longer than they should. They study your reactions, not because you forced them to, but because you left no other option. So from this moment on, never again believe that politeness is your currency. It's presence, and presence is built by subtraction. You subtract apology, you subtract explanation, you subtract approval seeking, you subtract softness that hasn't been earned. What remains? The real you, undeniable, unshakable, unignorable, because once these habits are gone, there is no more dilution, no more camouflage, only signal. only force, only the silent gravity of someone who doesn't perform power. He simply is power, and when that's who you become, even the most powerful in the room will feel it. Because you're no longer just in the room. You've become the center of it, without even trying. Exactly as Machiavelli would have wanted.